The whiskey here is cut with river water, and the river water is cut with whatever the dogs leave in the alley behind the church. I drink it anyway. I have been drinking it for 7 years. It is past noon and the sun has cooked the adobe walls until the inside of this place smells like a kiln. Flies on the table. Flies on the rim of my glass. Flies on the dried blood of the man whose name I'm trying to forget. I have one rule left. I do not take women, and I do not take children. Everything else I will run across the river for the right price. Cattle, whiskey, letters from women in Tennessee to men who will never read them. Once a coffin with no body in it. I did not ask. A man who has lost everything sells what is left of him by the pound. Mine has gotten cheap. The door opens and the room goes a half shade darker. I do not turn around. I have learned that turning around is how you let other men decide the shape of your day. She sits down across from me without asking. I look up. She is younger than I expected. I do not know what I expected. Her dress is gray wool, traveling cloth, dust on the hem but not on the bodice. Her hands are folded on the table the way a schoolteacher folds her hands when she is about to correct a child. There is no ring. Her eyes are very dark and very still. You are the guide, she says. Her English is careful, the kind of English that comes out of books and not out of mouths. I was. You are today. She places a small leather pouch on the table between us. The sound it makes is the sound that ends most arguments on this side of the river. I do not open it. I can hear what is inside. Saltillo, she says. 200 miles. You know the water. I know the water. Then you will take me. I look at the pouch. I look at her hands. I look at the door behind her, which is still closed but will not stay closed for long. Women who pay in gold do not arrive in towns like this without being followed by something. No, I say. She does not move. She does not blink. There is more, she says, and she sets a second pouch beside the first. I should have asked her then who was coming. I should have asked her what she had done. I should have asked her name. I asked her none of these things. A man with one rule left is a man one good reason away from having none. I saddled 2 horses in the dark before dawn. The bay for me, the gray mare for her, because the gray mare is steady and does not spook at gunfire. I have learned which horses you take and which you leave when you are crossing the desert with someone the world does not want. She comes out of the boarding house at the hour I told her. Not a minute before, not a minute after. She wears the same gray dress with a dark rebozo over her hair and shoulders. She carries a leather satchel that she will not let me touch. I lift her into the saddle. She weighs nothing. Her body is the body of someone who has not eaten properly in days, but who has not let it slow her. What is your name? I say. Not a question. A condition. Maria. Maria what? She looks at me for a long second. Castellanos. It is probably not her name. It does not matter. Out here, a name is just the sound a man uses to call you back from the dead. We ride out of the town before the rooster crows. Behind us, the windows are still dark, and the river is the color of cold iron. I don't look back. If I had looked back, I would have seen the man in the black coat already standing on the porch of the cantina, watching us go. The desert in October is the desert pretending to be merciful. By 10 o'clock, the sun is on us like a hand. By noon, the horses are blowing steam through their teeth, and the mare's flanks are dark with sweat. We do not speak. I have ridden with men who would not stop talking, and I have ridden with men who would not start. I prefer the second kind. Maria is a third kind. She rides like she is listening to something I cannot hear. I watch her in the corner of my eye. She does not slump. She does not ask for water. When I pass her the canteen, she takes one swallow and returns it. One swallow. I have known soldiers who could not do that on their best day. A woman who can ration water in a heat like this has been hungry before, has been thirsty before, has been told no before, and has learned that the no does not kill you. Out here, the people who survive are not the strong. They are the ones who have already practiced being broken. By dusk, we make a cold camp in the lee of a red rock the size of a house. I do not light a fire. Fires are letters you write to strangers. She eats the hard tack I give her without complaint. She sits with her back against the rock and watches the sky go from copper to ash to black. They will come tonight or tomorrow, she says. Who? She does not answer. I check my rifle by feel. I check my pistol by feel. I lay them both within reach, and I sleep with one eye on the horizon and one ear on the woman who will not tell me what I am dying for. They come at mid-morning of the second day, and they come from the wrong direction. 3 of them. Texas Rangers, real ones, with the tin star polished and the rifles in scabbards, and the horses in better shape than mine. The leader is older than the other 2. His mustache is white at the corners, and his eyes are the eyes of a man who has done this work long enough to no longer enjoy it. I tell Maria to keep her hands on the saddle horn and to let me speak. She does both. "Mornin'," the older ranger says. "Mornin'. Long way from anywhere. Most places are." He does not smile. He looks past me at Maria. His face does not change, but something behind his face changes. "That woman," he says, "is wanted in Bezar County for the murder of a man named Don Rafael Aguirre. Stabbed him in his own bedroom and took a strongbox of his money. We have been riding 9 days." I do not look at Maria. I do not look at her, because if I look at her, my face will tell him that this is the first I am hearing of any of it. "You sure it's her?" I say. "We are sure. She does not look like a woman who could stab a man in his own bedroom." They never do. There is a long quiet. The horses breathe. A hawk turns in the sky above us. I can feel Maria not moving behind me. I can feel her not being afraid, which is the part that is starting to bother me. "I am taking her in," the ranger says. "You can ride with us back to town, or you can ride on. No quarrel with you." I nod slowly. I let my hand drift toward my saddlebag like a man reaching for paperwork. The younger ranger sees it too late. The wind stops. The hawk above us holds its turn. Even the horses do not move. I have been in this moment before. Every man who has lived past 30 out here has been in this moment before, and every man knows that what comes next is the part you do not get to take back. I do not want to do this. A man who does not want to do something and does it anyway is a man who has already chosen. The pistol is in my hand before I have decided to put it there. I shoot the older ranger first because the older one is the one who would have made the right decision fastest. He goes back over the cantle of his saddle and his horse bolts, and he is gone before he hits the ground. The younger 2 are slower. The first one fumbles his rifle out of the scabbard, and I shoot him in the chest. He looks down at the hole in his shirt with mild surprise, the way a man looks at a stain he cannot account for, and then he slides sideways out of the saddle. The third one wheels his horse and runs. I let him. I should not have let him. I knew that even as I lowered the pistol. A man who runs is a man who tells. But I had already killed 2 Texas Rangers in the time it takes to draw a breath, and the third killing would not have made me lighter. Maria is still on her horse. Her hands are still on the saddle horn. She has not made a sound. I look at her. I look at the two dead men on the ground. Get down, I say. We bury them. There is no time. We bury them anyway. We dig with our hands and with the flat of a saddle pan, because the ground here is more rock than dirt, and a shovel would not have helped much. It takes us an hour to put them under enough sand and stones that the coyotes will have to work for it. I do not say words over them. I do not know words. When I stand up, my hands are shaking, and they have not shaken for a job like this since I was 19 years old in a wheat field in Tennessee. Maria watches me. She does not look away. Did you kill him? I say. The man in Bezar? No. Did you take the money? No. Then who did? She does not answer. She's looking past me at the horizon to the east, where a single thin column of dust is rising into the white sky. He is coming, she says. He rides at a walk because the horse is the only thing he owns that matters, and he doesn't believe in killing horses for the sake of urgency. The dead will keep. The living always do. He wears a black wool coat that is too heavy for this country, and he wears it on purpose because a man in a black coat in October desert is a man who wants to be seen from a long way off. Fear is a tool, and a tool that does its own work is the best kind. His name is Tomas Aguirre, and his brother has been dead for 11 days. He thinks about his brother sometimes as he rides, not with grief. Grief is for women and priests. He thinks about his brother the way a man thinks about a door he has finally been able to open. Don Rafael was the eldest. Don Rafael got the land. Don Rafael got the cattle, the house, the name, the wife who would not look at Tomas when she passed him in the hall. Don Rafael got everything that the laws of God and of inheritance gave to firstborn sons. And Tomas got a small allowance in a room above the stables and 29 years of watching. He had planned the killing for 11 months. He had planned it carefully, the way a man plans a long journey. The knife, the hour, the window, the boots he would burn afterward, everything except the woman. The woman was not part of the plan. The woman was the children's governess. And the children's governess does not walk through the upstairs hall at 3 a.m, except that she did. She saw him in the doorway with the knife. He saw her in the candlelight with her hand on the wall. He has been riding to find her ever since. He has told the family that she is a thief and a murderess. He has told the rangers the same. He has told the hired man from his brother's wife the same. 3 different stories aimed at 3 different kinds of men, all of them moving toward the same point on the map, toward her. She's the only person alive who knows what he is. He thinks about her as he rides. He thinks about her quiet face and her quiet hands, and the way she did not scream that night in the hallway. She did not scream because she understood, in that 1 second, that screaming would not save her. That is rare in a woman. That is rare in anyone. He almost respects her for it. He will kill her anyway. We ride hard the rest of the day and into the dusk. I do not let her stop. The mare is failing under her, and my bay is not much better. But stopping is not a thing we can afford until the dark is full enough to hide a fire from anyone but a man who can read the wind. When I finally call a halt, it is in a wash between 2 limestone bluffs, and I let her build a small fire under an overhang because she is shivering, and because I need her able to talk. I sit across from her with the rifle across my knees. Talk, I say. She talks. She tells me she was the governess for Don Rafael Aguirre's 2 small children, and that she had worked in his house for 3 years. She tells me that on the night of the 8th of September, she could not sleep because one of the children had a fever, and she had been up giving him water. She tells me that at 3 a.m, she walked down the upstairs hall to fetch a fresh cloth from the linen closet and that she saw a man come out of Don Raphael's bedroom with a knife in his hand. She tells me the man was the Don's younger brother. She tells me he saw her see him. In the morning, she says, the body was found. By noon, I was the one they were looking for. The knife was in my room. The strongbox was empty. The brother told them where to find the knife. The brother told them I had been alone with the Don the night before. The brother told them many things. The Rangers believed him. He is a white man. I'm a Mexican woman who works for wages. There was nothing to believe. There was only what was easier. I look at the fire. The fire looks back at me with the same cold indifference it has shown me my whole life. Why Saltillo? She's quiet for a long moment. Because it is far, she says. Because I have a cousin there I have not seen in 11 years. Because I had to choose somewhere, and Saltillo was a name I remembered from when I was a child. She is not lying. I have spent enough years across enough tables from enough men to know what a lie looks like. And this is not it. I have killed 2 Texas Rangers for a woman who is telling the truth. There is no aphorism for this. There is no folk wisdom from the cantina that makes this lighter. There is only the fire, and the woman, and the dark, and the man in the black coat who is somewhere out there in the dark too, getting closer at the speed of a horse that is not in any hurry. The hired men find us at dawn. They are not Rangers. Rangers ride in straight lines and announce themselves. These 4 come up out of a dry creek bed at a flat run with their pistols already drawn, and they do not call out before they shoot. The first bullet takes my hat off. The second one breaks the canteen on my saddle. The third one I do not see because by then I am off the bay and behind a rock, and the bay is screaming and going down, and there's nothing I can do for him. I get the rifle up. The first hired man dies with his mouth open. The second one I miss because my hands are still angry about the bay. The third one I get in the shoulder and he keeps coming, and I get him a second time in the throat. The fourth one is smarter than the others. He has dismounted and is working his way around the rock from the south side, low and quiet, the way a man who has done this before will do it. I don't see him. I hear him. I hear him because Maria, who I told to stay flat behind the limestone, has stood up and is walking toward him with empty hands. Stop, she says. In Spanish, calm. He stops. He is 12 feet from her. His pistol is pointed at her chest. You know who sent you, she says. The widow. The widow's husband's brother. The man hesitates. Just for 1 second. 1 second is what I need. I shoot him under the arm where the ribs meet, and he goes down sideways and does not get up. The desert is suddenly very quiet. My ears are ringing. The bay is not moving anymore. Maria is standing in the same place where she stopped the fourth man, and her hands are at her sides, and she is looking at me the way a person looks at a thing they did not expect to see. You are still here, she says. I am still here. Why? I do not have an answer for her. I have killed 7 men in 2 days for a woman whose name I am not even sure of, and I do not have an answer. A man who has run out of rules has nothing left to follow but the next step. We ride double on the gray mare. The bay we leave for the coyotes, because there is no time, and there is no shovel, and because the bay was a good horse, and the desert keeps its own. I do not realize I have been hit until 2 hours later, when I try to swing my right leg forward in the stirrup and the leg does not answer. I look down. There is a hole in my trouser above the knee, and the trouser is dark and wet, and the wetness has been spreading the whole time I was congratulating myself on being alive.
We'll rest here for a bit.
Maria sees it before I say anything.
Easy
Stop,
now. Just
she
let me
says.
hold you.
We cannot stop. Stop, now.
Thank you.
We stop in the shade of a mesquite that is barely a tree. She gets down, and she helps me down, and my right leg buckles under me as soon as it touches the ground. She lowers me against the trunk. She tears a strip from the hem of her dress with her teeth. She binds the leg above the wound. Her hands are steady. Her hands are the hands of a woman who has bound up children's scrapes and women's burns and her own quiet wounds for years. Is the bullet in there? I say. I cannot tell. Then we keep going. Elias. It is the first time she has used my name. We keep going, I say.
Your leg.
He is still coming.
Just get me on her.
She looks south in the direction of Saltillo, which is still more than 100 miles away across country that does not forgive a man with a hole in his leg. She looks north in the direction the man in the black coat is coming from. She looks at me. She nods. She helps me back onto the mare. The mare is too small for both of us and is going to die under us before we get to the border. And we both know it. We make the river the next morning. The Rio Grande in October is low and brown and slow. It is not a river so much as the memory of a river. It is also the only line on this map that means anything to the men who are after us. Because once we are on the south bank, the rangers cannot follow, and the hired men's bosses lose their interest, and the only one who will keep coming is the one who is always going to keep coming anyway. I slide off the mare into the shallows. The water is cold, and the cold is the first honest thing I have felt in days. My leg goes numb, and that is a mercy. Maria walks the mare across, and I limp beside her with my hand on the saddle for balance, and we come up onto the south bank under a stand of cottonwoods that are losing their leaves. I sit down in the dirt with my back against a tree. I am tired in a way I haven't been tired since the war. I'm tired the way a man is tired when his body has decided something his mind has not yet been told. He is still coming, she says, looking back across the river. I know. He will not stop at the river. I know. I look up at her. The morning light is on her face, and for the first time since she sat down across from me in that cantina, I see her clearly. She is not beautiful. She is something better than beautiful. She is a person who has been told her whole life that she does not matter, and who has discovered in the worst possible way that she does. Take the mare, I say. Ride south. Stay off the road. There is a village called La Encantada 3 days from here. The priest there owes me a favor. Tell him I sent you. And you. I will wait here. He will kill you. He will catch up to you if I do not slow him down. The mare cannot carry both of us much further. You know it. She does not move. I'm not asking, I say. She stands very still for a long moment. Then she does something I do not expect. She kneels down in the dirt in front of me, and she takes my face in both of her hands, and she looks at me the way I have not been looked at by anyone since my mother put me on the train to Chattanooga in 1862. Elias Reed, she says. Yes. Do not die for me. That is not what this is. Then what is it? I think about it for a long time. The river runs. The cottonwoods drop their leaves into the slow brown water. It is the first thing in 7 years, I say, that I have not done for money. She kisses me on the forehead the way you kiss a child who is going somewhere you cannot follow. Then she stands up, and she takes the mare's reins, and she walks south into the cottonwood shade without looking back. Out here, mercy is the rarest currency, and the only one that does not lose its value. I hear his horse before I see him. I have positioned myself behind a deadfall on the north bank of the river, with the rifle across the log and the last 6 cartridges in a row on the wood beside my hand. My leg has stopped bleeding because the cold of the river has done what tourniquets cannot. I do not have long. I know I do not have long. He rides up to the river bank at the same walk he's been riding the whole way. He does not look hurried. He does not look tired. He does not look at the obvious cover on the south bank where a smart man would be hiding. He looks instead at the stand of trees on the north bank, and his eyes find me before I am ready for them to. "You are the guide," he says. His voice carries across the water without effort. I do not answer. "She paid you well, I assume." I do not answer. "I will pay you better. I will pay you double what she paid you, and I will let you keep your leg, and I will not put your name on a wanted poster in every county between here and El Paso." I shoot him. I shoot him cleanly through the breast pocket of the black coat, and the man in the black coat folds forward over the neck of his horse, like a man bowing to a queen. And the horse panics and tries to bolt, and the man slides sideways out of the saddle and into the brown water of the Rio Grande. He does not come up. The current takes him slowly south, the same direction Maria has gone. But Maria is hours ahead of him now, and the dead do not catch the living. I sit behind the deadfall for a long time after he is gone. I do not move. I'm not sure I can move. The leg has stopped bleeding, but it has also stopped being mine. I cannot feel my foot. I cannot feel my knee. I can feel the cold of the river coming up through the ground into my hip. Eventually, I make myself stand. The horse the man in the black coat was riding has not gone far. It is grazing on the south bank, confused, looking for a hand on its bridle. I limp down through the river and I catch its reins, and the horse lets me, because it is a good horse, and it has been riding with a bad man for a long time, and it can tell the difference. I get into the saddle on the third try. The leg is going to be a problem. The leg is going to be a problem for the rest of my life. I will not run again. I will not dance, although I haven't danced since I was a boy. I will walk with a limp into every cantina from here to the Pacific, and men will look at me, and they will know, the way men know these things, that I was a fighter once, and that something took it out of me. I let the horse pick its own direction. The horse, having more sense than its last rider, and almost as much as its current one, walks south. I find the village 3 days later, exactly where I told her it would be. The priest is an old man with one good eye, and a mouth that has tasted too much sour wine and not enough good food. He recognizes me from the door and he does not look surprised. The priest at La Encantada has stopped being surprised by anything. "She is here," he says before I've asked. "Is she safe?" She is safe. She is sleeping in the back room. She's been sleeping for 2 days. And the cousin in Saltillo. He looks at me strangely. There is no cousin in Saltillo. I lower myself onto the bench by the door because my leg will not hold me upright through that sentence. "She told you." She told me last night when I asked her where she was going next. She said she had no one in Saltillo. She said Saltillo was just the furthest place on the map she could imagine. She said she had been walking toward a name on a piece of paper, because a person needs to walk toward something or they fall down. I think about that for a long time. I think about the cantina and the gold on the table, and the careful English of a woman who had nowhere to go, and who had decided to pay a stranger to take her there anyway. I think about her hands on my face by the river. The priest brings me a cup of bad wine. I drink it. "What will you do?" he says. I do not know. And her. She will tell me when she wakes up. She wakes up the next morning. She comes out into the small courtyard where I am sitting on a stone bench with my bad leg stretched out in front of me. and the morning sun is on the white walls of the church, and the air smells of wood smoke and tortillas and the dust that never quite settles in this country. She sees me. She stops in the doorway. She does not say anything for a long moment. "You are alive," she says, more or less. "He is dead. He is dead." She walks across the courtyard slowly and she sits down on the bench beside me, not touching, just beside. We watch the sun on the wall. "There is no cousin in Saltillo," she says. "I know. The priest told you?" "He told me. I am sorry." "Do not be." She turns her head and she looks at me. "What now?" she says. "That is what I was going to ask you." She's quiet for a long time. The morning gets warmer. A rooster crows from somewhere on the other side of the village wall, late and embarrassed. "I do not know how to be free," she says. "I have been a servant since I was 11 years old. I have been a servant in good houses and bad houses. I do not know who I am when there is no one to bring tea to." "Then you will learn." "How?" "Slowly. The way I am learning to walk again." She smiles. It is a small smile and it does not reach her eyes, but it is a smile. And it is the first one I have seen on her face in the whole time I have known her. "Will you stay?" she says. I think about it. I think about the cantina across the river, and the flies, and the man I used to be, and the 7 years I've spent counting the days since I had a reason to count anything else. "For a while," I say, "until the leg is better, until you know how to be in a place without bringing tea to anyone. And then we will see." A man with a limp and a woman with no name worth keeping, sitting on a bench in a village whose name means the enchanted, and the morning sun on a white church wall, and the desert quiet on every side of us, and the dead a long way north of here in the slow brown water of a river that does not remember anyone for very long. It is not a happy ending. It is not even an ending. It is the first morning of something, which is the most a man like me has any right to ask for. I will not run again. I will not be the man I was. I am not sure I want to be. The leg will hurt for the rest of my life. On cold mornings it will wake me before the sun, and I will lie in the dark and remember the river and the man in the black coat going under, and the woman who took my face in her hands and told me not to die for her. I did not die for her. I did not die for anything. I lived. I lived for the first time since 1865, and I lived because a quiet woman walked into a cantina and put 2 pouches of gold on a sticky table and looked at me with the eyes of a person who had nowhere left to go but forward. Out here, the only thing rarer than a reason to live is a person who gives you one without asking for one in return. I am going to sit in this courtyard a while longer. I'm going to watch the sun on the white wall, and I am going to drink the bad wine the priest keeps for emergencies, and I am going to wait for the woman who is not Maria Castellanos, and who is not anyone yet, and I am going to learn, slowly, the new shape of a life that was supposed to be over. The desert is patient. So am I. Thank you for riding this one out with me. Stories like this are the ones I love telling most, the quiet ones that begin with a stranger and a deal, and end with 2 people on a bench. If there is a story you have been carrying around in your own head, leave it in the comments below. I read every one, and the next ride starts with a name on a piece of paper, the same way this one did.